with the opportunity for a Hollywood finish will take the Indy 250.
Phoenix, there they go, down to the bottom, 4 or 5 wide. Let's see if they can all keep it together. But Jacob ARCA gets...
Remember last year when they ran the Weenie 500, they streamed it on YouTube, on their YouTube channel? They're bringing it to TV this year.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of Monday Racing with the Bottom Split Racing Series. This is your host talking, John Miles, and today we have an exciting race, a little bit different than what we normally do. Instead of turning just left, we're going to head a little bit and have some right-hand turns at Lime Rock Park, presented by Showtime Esports Manager for the fifth race, for round number 5, the fifth race in this season for Bottom Split Racing Series. Should have a pretty good one for you all, as we have about 6 minutes left of a mixed qualifying attempt, both with qualifying and practice going on. A lot of notes to have for this race. First of all, we're going to start with some track info for you all, just to kind of get our bearings on things. So Lime Rock Park, it's located in Salisbury, Connecticut. Opened in 1957 with 1.5 miles in length, which is kind of typical for these drivers when it comes to the total length of the racetrack when you think about something like maybe Vegas or Kansas or Charlotte when it comes to the length. But make no mistake, we're going to be making a lot more than just left-hand turns. We're going to be making some right turns, especially through those S's and some giant uphill sections. It's notable to note that we all are going to be racing the classic configuration, which is a configuration that we typically race on in the real-life series, both in the truck series as well as the ARCA Menards Series as well. Session rules, like I said, is a 25-minute open qualifying attempt, which the drivers have about 5 minutes left of that right now, and then we'll be sitting at a 20-lap race. Just as a reminder, there are no full course cautions at any of the tracks we go to, so make sure to save your tires, but also don't get too aggressive, as this is a super tight track, as you will see. Not a lot of room for error, not a lot of good passing zones, so got to be aggressive without going around. That's the big name of the game. Let's go ahead and take a look at those driver standings just to kick things off. After 4 of the 8 races, a little bit now that we're halfway through the season, Robert Lewis is leading with 140 points over Garrett Jarnigan in second with 136. Jacob ARCA rounds out your podium at 126 with DJ Fluck and Rohan James knocking out your top 5. Jax Mail there in the 24 is your 6th position with JP Jones 7th. Eric Richardson in the 13, rocking up 8th place. Connor Fugits in the number 19 with 9th. And Scott Rolls, number 10th in the points in the number 4. And there you can see the rest of the standings. It's important to note for this race, like I said, most of our guys are used to just turning left. But as I mentioned, the last guy I just mentioned there with being Scott Rolls, it's important to note that Scott Rolls, he did win last season's road course race at Watkins Glen, so expect him to be a heavy favorite going into tonight's race. As right now, if I double check, I'm sure he's got to be one of the fastest guys right now when it comes to just overall lap times. As we take a look at that vertical tender, you can see he is sitting at the top of the podium. Not too far behind, though, is the guy in second place, Garrett Jarnigan. So we'll have to see what he can do and see if he can try to maybe jump in that point standings. Just take another look right now at those driver standings. He's just 4 points behind Braden Lewis, just 4 points behind, so we'll have to keep an eye on the difference between both Jarnigan and Lewis as this race goes on. before we get started too deep into the race, we'll go ahead and take a look at something a little bit new in case you guys missed it in the previous weeks or previous announcement. But Showtime Esports, Esports Manager, today's championship race is presented by them, so thank you all for coming aboard. Showtime Esports Manager is a comprehensive platform designed to simplify and streamline the management of esport leagues and tournaments, from schedules and registrations, standings, results, automation. It's pretty much got it all. It replaces spreadsheets and manual process with kind of a centralized, easy-to-use system. It's really easy to manage your first league or tournament for free, so go ahead and check them out at showtimeesports.com. In case you missed it last week, pretty good episode of Garage Talk with joint FR Racing's DJ Fluck and Eric Richardson. I believe they're both joining us in the field today. Yep, we got them both. Every Friday morning, as they discuss the world of motorsports, both real and simulated. This week's episode, DJ and Eric recap the Wednesday Night Dash season, Dawson Buchanan's Jimmy Johnson-like streak as a champion, and F1 leadership. It's probably starting to panic just a little bit as well. So search YouTube or your favorite podcast platform for FR Racing's Garage Talk, and make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Little biased, huge fan of theirs. My preferred way to watch is definitely on Spotify. That way you can have a little, if you want to just listen to the audio, you can, but they also provide a way you can watch the video directly off of Spotify as well, so you have a little best of both worlds situation. So make sure to check them out. Normally a super, super good time. Recently announced too, Wednesday Night Dash, taking the off season right now. I'm kind of glad personally to have a little bit of a break, but as you can see right there, that's the 2026 Truck Series schedule. Heading to Atlanta on April 22nd, so it's got a little, about 2 or 3 weeks left before we actually have to start getting ready for that. But should be a good one, going back to the 2008 configuration, so should be a lot of fun, a lot of tire saving. And then heading to St. Pete. First time we'll be heading there in the truck. Should be a grand old time to kind of play, I guess, little brother to the Indy Racing World Series, which will be racing there as well the previous day. But overall, super great schedule. Make sure to check that out on Wednesdays. As I mentioned previously, Indy Racing World Series. Right now, we're heading to Kansas tomorrow. Should be a super, super fun battle. One of my favorite tracks, I might be a little biased, living here in Missouri, Kansas Speedway. Great time to go to in real life. Cars put on a good show, both in the virtual world as well as in real life, both with NASCAR, IndyCar, all of it. Should be a good race. Make sure to come back tomorrow at this time to take a peek at that and see what those guys can dish out. Rubbin's racing, but it might cost you in that series. Looking a little bit ahead at the GT Sprint Series event schedule. Kind of have a little bit, I guess. We've got about, I don't know, a week or so before Nürburgring. A lot of races coming up with the GT3, GT4, TCR, and GR86 classes. Make sure to join the Discord if you guys want to participate in those races. It's completely free to do. Highly suggest if you want to just get some road course prep in. Easy, fun way to do that, and also learn a couple things from other drivers out there in our practice. So you can check that out at Stadium Scene TV. Just contact their socials, or if you go to frracingonline.com, all that stuff should be there as well. As qualifying is now officially over, so we should be heading to the grid here pretty soon. As we take a look at who rolled off and where, should be a pretty good one. We might still have 20 or so seconds left before that kicks off quite yet. Right now, Garrett Jarnigan is still sitting P2, about 0.2 of a second behind. At a road course, every 10th really can be the difference. I mean, you can lose or gain a 10th in every single corner. It's not quite as particular when it comes to, as compared to an oval, I suppose. So you can be just as fast as somebody and have a way worse corner if your corner somewhere else is way better. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys, like I said before, navigate around each other. And turn one should be an interesting corner at the start of this race. We'll have to see how these drivers handle it and what they can do to hopefully survive the first corner. But like I said, super tight corner, cold tires. We'll have to see how they do. as we do have Scott Rolls in P1 with Garrett Jornigan P2, Rohan James P3, Jacob Barker P4, Michael Deach, who's joining us from the IndyCar world of things. Welcome. Glad to have you over here. We'll have to see how he handles these fenders a little bit. A little different than IndyCar, a lot less speed, a lot less downforce. No DRS, not a whole lot to worry about other than the wheel between your hands and the pedals between your feet. So we'll have to see how he does. Wishing him the best of luck as we are starting to grid. We'll see if we can grab that leader. Let's see if he's in the talk. Let's see if he can give us a little talk. I'm not sure if he's anywhere even. No, the Discord's kind of quiet right now, so doesn't look like we'll be talking to many people. Nope, all quiet. Fortunately, we'll be missing out on that, but that's alright. As we get rolling on Scott Rolls, we'll go ahead and see. A nice little shot of those cars rolling off. As these cars all rolling through, we're going to pull that track info up one more time. Just take a look as they go through the S's right now on track. Shouldn't be a whole lot of shifting, less than you'd probably think. Most of the drivers are going to be using second gear in the big bend, as you can see there. But third and fourth gear is kind of going to be your friend for the most part through the rest of the track. An area that we're really going to have to pay attention to as they come around it about right now is that uphill section. You can't just mash the throttle, because if you do, your back tires might spin and you might just lose control of the car. So having that fine line between when you get on the throttle without absolutely jeopardizing the race and everyone else's race behind you, super, super important. Probably your best opportunity for passing, if I had to guess, would be coming out of the diving turn there. You can see at the very bottom, it's a downhill turn, but if you can maximize your exit, trying to set somebody up on the straight to maybe pass them on the straightaway, or at least send it in on the big bend in turn one. The biggest challenge, though, for these drivers will definitely just be trying to keep the wheels underneath them, as you can see just by looking at it right now. Track isn't very wide, not a whole lot of runoff available. Let's see what they can do as the pace car rolls off. And they take the green flag. Number 32 getting a great jump on that left side line. Heavy braking as they're 3 wide already. Spreading out. 24 pushes the 2 a little wide. As they get stuff figured out, the 4 has taken the lead. Still a little 3 wide, a little bit farther back. As the 4 continues to stretch to the 25, Rohan James right on his tail. We'll take a look throughout the field a little bit farther back to see what else we can find. As Garrett Jornigan has fallen back to 4th after starting 2nd. Seems like the cars have gotten single file at this point with nobody having major issues. It looks like the 87 of John Jarvis and the 5 of Lane Snow. A little bit offline as they're already 4 seconds back, but right now these cars seem to be kind of single file as Rohan James is just hunting down the number 4 right on his tail right now. Your tires probably still aren't quite up to temp just yet. Probably about halfway through the 2nd lap is when they'll be about where you want them to be. So it's important not to lock them up too early and burn them when we do have 20 laps of some lefts and rights. Very technical racing as you go. Go ahead and take a little bit farther back at the 88, as I believe he is in a closer battle. Right now there's about 3 cars there. All kind of tail to tail to tail. Right now you can see the 2 trying to make the pass on the 21. Side by side right now, but he comes out of the gas to try to make this corner. As he lost all that momentum, so now the 88 is going to be right on his tail. A little bit back to the lead. We still have all these cars are very, very tight together. Both the 4, the 25, the 32 are all kind of just waiting for one of the other ones to make a mistake. It's the biggest way and easiest way to make a pass at a track like this, how tight it is. You just kind of have to wait for them to try to make a mistake and see if you can't capitalize on it. A little bit farther back, a Tuesday regular, Michael Deach, doing a great job in his debut right now, sitting P4. plenty used to road courses when it comes to the open wheel cars, but so far, great performance so far in these stock car builds. As right now, him and the 24 of Malin, a little bit farther back than this main pack, but then you have about another 2 seconds before you get to the 01 of Braden Lewis. And then another gap of about 2 seconds before the 19 of Tom Refuge. Scott Rolls is pulled ahead by about 2 seconds right now. Knocking him off, staying consistent, picking up right where he left off from his win last season at Watkins Glen. As right now, Rohan Jans is feeling the pressure from Garrett Jarnigan, as although there isn't any contact being made, there might as well be. Whenever you have someone just beak on your back bumper like that, especially at a road course. Ooh, as Rohan James, the 25 gets a little loose there, sideways, hangs onto it, but hits that curb pretty hard. That's going to kill his exit. As you can see, the 32 is right on his rear. Came out of the gas a little bit, not to wreck both of them, but mistakes like that will end up costing you as the 32 makes a lunge to the inside. Right now he's a little bit ahead. As the 25 clear, we'll have to see how hard the 25 gets into the brakes. As the 32 takes the defensive line, going low. 25's trying to sneak underneath, but I don't believe the momentum's there. Textbook pass there by the 32. But it goes to show what I was talking about just right before it happened was you really got to keep an eye on that kind of stuff, because the best way to beat them is just forcing them to make a mistake. And with how many corners we have, and we're taking rights, not just lefts, it's really easy to put somebody in an uncomfortable situation where they make a mistake because they're too busy looking in their mirror instead of their windshield. As the 25 has another wiggle a little bit farther back. Looks like the 01 of Braden Lewis has started to hunt down a couple cars in front of him as he's starting to close in on both Deech and the 82 and the 24 of Jax Malin. We got the rest of the field. It looks like the pack is pretty spread out. We've had one pass a little bit farther back with the 5 of Lane Snow making it around. The 80 of DJ Fluck is falling back a little bit. The 1 of Harrison Santos does appear to be out of the race. Not sure what happened there. If I had to imagine, it was a lap 1 incident. Really unfortunate, but like I said, that first corner can be a little rough as the 5 goes wide. You want to hit those rumble strips to maximize your exit, but you can't hit it too hard or you'll end up going way off course. Back towards the front, Scott Rolls maintaining a solid gap of about a second to a second and a half, depending on where he is on the track. He seems to be a little bit slower through the later parts of this track, but during those first couple of front S's, he really seems to pull away in those heavier braking zones. Just doesn't seem to be able to roll the corners quite as well as Garrett Jarnigan behind him. As you can see, Jarnigan even made a great lunge there, but it is going to stretch out just a little bit. Right now, maintaining about 7 to 8 tenths. Couple guys moving up. It looks like somebody did wreck 21 of JP Jones. Falling a little bit farther back. We'll have to take a replay and see what happened. Maybe nothing. Maybe I missed something. Name lagged for a bit. Quite possible. And then he goes back there. Not quite sure what happened, but he has dropped to 10th place. Go a little bit farther up. I want to see what else is going on. Back to the lead. Stretched a little bit. Now sitting about a second. You can see the back of that 25 car if we have the camera pan over to the 25 car. Thank you, camera operator. Back to 25 seems to be a little loose. You'll especially notice it if we coming up here after these set of S's. The last couple times on this uphill section, you can see he's getting the throttle just a little early. And that back end's wanting to come out. You can see it right there. It's a little squirrely right there, but that one wasn't as bad as some of the previous ones. Want to maintain rear security in these cars. They made a change to them. I think I mentioned this the last broadcast. It made them a little bit looser by taking out the anti-roll bar, the ARB. And that should have made the cars to both be more in line with the real schedule, but also should make them a little bit looser, especially later in runs. So These cars were notorious for running a little tight, so it's kind of nice to see that change. Just see if you can manage a little bit more right rears. We're coming up on lap traffic. The leaders are the 87 of John Jarvis, still a lap down. Hold them tough outside. Cleared out of the way. About just killed the nose off of the 80, off of the 25. And the 87 goes around. I believe, if I had to guess, it was probably a recipe. I don't believe there's any contact. We'll double check, but I don't believe there's any contact. If I had to guess, it'd be more of a matter of, you can see, just gets to the throttle too quick, loses that right rear security, or just the rear security overall. So nobody's fault. Just you lose all that pressure on your back tires, and they start to spin. When they catch back up, there they go. As 21 pulls out of the way, see he's got massive nose damage. We definitely missed something. I'll have to take a look and see what happened. There it is. Going into, just overshot the corner, wheel hopped, boom. Smoked it. Unfortunate, but we'll see if he can't get it fixed. Try to come back out on track and see what he can manage, what he can scrounge up from the finish of the race. With that, Langstone moves into the top 10. Right now, everyone else kind of behind these top three, kind of steadied out where they are. Both Michael Deach in the 82 maintaining 4th. Kind of the same gap back to 5th as same back to Braden Lewis in the 01. Right now, if you're Garrett Jarnigan, you wouldn't hate it finishing where it is right now, just as you probably would jump the 01 in points as it stands right now. But we'll have to see how aggressive these guys get. As you can see, Jarnigan is right there on the back bumper of the number 4 car. Smoky Mountain Racing has done an excellent job over these last couple seasons, putting a lot more emphasis into these road courses across all the disciplines that they've been running. Both in the Hunter Hughes made an IndyCar start. I'm not sure if it was under the SMR banner, but he made an IndyCar start. He's part of that affiliate team, but he made an IndyCar start at Spa, and then, as you can see, the 32 is doing an excellent job right now at doing the stock car side of things as well. The 4 is plenty used to pressure when it comes to road course racing, though, so we'll have to see how well he does. As the 4, you can see right there, a little wiggle. Whenever the car wiggles too, you've got to come out of the gas, otherwise it will come around on you. So you kill your exit right here. So Ford does a great job of using every bit of the race. You can see those left side tires do hit the rumble strip. It's the fastest way around as he stretched. Beautiful exit on that corner, set up the straightaway, because you can see he stretched it back from 2/10 to 4/10, now back to about 8/10 to 9/10. These top 2 have pulled away from the 25 just a little bit. I see Jarnigan's doing an excellent job of applying pressure on the bumper of the number 4, especially through these slower S's. With no track runoff, or bump and run might send them into the grass and kill the person ahead of you race, but it's all about balance. When do you want to do it, and how hard do you want to do it? The 2 of Barker having an excellent race, as he was involved and pushed off track a little bit earlier in the race, was causing him to lose quite a bit of positions, but all things considered, moving his way up to 7th place. I'm sure he's frustrated with how that race started, but all things considered, should be super proud of himself for getting at least some of it back. Chris, I apologize. I'm just now seeing your comment. The comment was, what's the over-under on wrecking cars into turn 1? I would have guessed more than we got, but no, we didn't get that. Look at that. That nice little feature. We got a chat feed now. New little widget we're trying out. We'll see if it works. Feel free to say something if you want to. We'll see if it pops up. Try to keep it somewhat PG. Then again, it is racing though, so if it's not PG, at least make sure it's funny. Right now, Jarnigan's still doing a great job, though, of staying on that back bumper as we kind of go ahead and take another look and see where he's at. Back to the front of the pack. A lot of lap traffic to go around. Cut at a perfect time. You can see the 32. The lap traffic right now is the 30. Ooh, big bump there as he sends the 4 a little off track. Going to kill his exit. We'll see how aggressive the 32 gets through this next part. I can't imagine him coming up on much more lap traffic as the number 5 goes a lap down and also loses a spot to the 88 at the same time. Not quite sure where the next guy would be. I believe it's Eric Richardson. If we cut to him, we'll have to see where he is. Looks like he's going into turn 1 right now, so a little bit farther up. Not quite sure if Scott Rolls and Garrett Jarnigan are going to get to him, but quite possible as we do have a pass a little bit farther back. Jack Smalin getting passed by Robert Lewis. Jack sends it back on the inside. Not quite close enough to even make an attempt at a bump and run, though. As I settle back in with the 01 and Braden Lewis taking 5th place. Apologize for just showing these two for the most part, but we got a pretty good race on our hands for the lead right now. As it seems that Garrett Jarnigan is quite a bit faster through those first couple S's through that first section, but you can see Scott Rolls doing an excellent job of just getting that drive off, especially at that last corner, to maximize his speed on that straightaway. You can see Eric Richardson just up ahead of him. You can see as he starts to come through the S's. Ooh, big slide there at 25. Huge slide, great save. These tires are starting to eat away right now, as we do have 4 laps to go. Probably wanting to get up. These drivers right now probably got their hands full not only in the car, but also trying to make tiny little adjustments to see on their brake biases to see what's going on. Lewis has pulled away a little bit farther back. The 01 has pulled away a little bit by about a second on the 24. I'm not sure if there's enough time to catch 4th place, but maybe. Probably going to send the leaders for the next laps to see how they navigate lap traffic as they come up on the 87 once again. 87 trying not to go 2 laps down, but at some point you'd have to imagine he might just get a little taste. As he goes a little off track there, he might just get a taste of the bumper. And he does come to a complete stop and just rolls out as the 32's right on his tail. Will we see a move going into the last corner? How aggressive does the 32 get? A little loose on exit, which killed some of the momentum. Tiny bit faster, but not by much. You have to wonder, can the 32 time this up perfect to where he can use that lap traffic as the 13 goes way off track, just trying to stay way out of the way. As he trying to work towards a lawnmower sponsorship as he goes way on the grass, cutting quite a bit of it. Good deal that he stayed out of the way, though, of these leaders, as these guys can just fight it out. Back to about 4/10, but Garrett Jarnigan does a great job in this section specifically of maximizing that. Ooh, as he gets a little loose. Announcer's jinx, sorry about that. Got a little loose there, but for the most part he's been a lot faster through that particular section, but this corner right here is where the 4 has really just stretched himself from the 32, maximizing that exit. White flag this time by 1 lap to go. Not sponsored by Credit One Bank, no matter what they tell you. Ooh, little loose there, out of the 4. This has allowed Jarnigan to break that gap just a little bit. Still at 5/10. We'll have to see how aggressive he gets going into this uphill section. You see the 32 is trying to get every bit of it that he can for this last lap. He has a chance at a move right here. We'll see how aggressive he gets. Sends it in the corner. Side by side. Will he have enough side draft to pull him back? Side by side at the line. Garrett Jarnigan gets it done. What a move. Woo! What a move. Absolutely incredible. Let's get a replay on that. That was just something else. We're going to go to the setup of this corner. You can see it looks like going into the downhill. The 32 just gets an excellent run going into it. The 4 gets a little loose. That puts the 32 right on his bumper. No dirty move going into the corner. The 32 just got the car to rotate, slide underneath him. You can see there's no contact right there. And as we come to the line, boom, 32 gets it done at Lime Rock with an amazing last lap pass. Definitely solidifying him in the first place position. Excellent drive altogether. Not sure what's going on with the camera angle, but it says we're getting a burnout, but we can't quite see it. There it is. Way off in the woods. Great burnout. Great race. Excellent move there. Truly a testament to Smoky Mountain Racing's performance when it comes to, and all the effort they put into this road course package. As we go ahead and pull up the standings for you all to look at, go ahead and rattle them off with Garrett Jarnigan coming home in the top podium spot in the 32. Scott Rolls in the 4 car coming home second. Rohan James third. Michael Deach in his debut fourth. Robert Lewis fifth. Jax Malin sixth. Jacob Barker seventh. Connor Fuge eighth. Eric Richardson ninth. Lane Snow coming in 10th. Then DJ Fluck 11th. John Jarvis 12th. JP Jones in the 21 13th. And then Harrison Santos finishing 14th. We're going to wait just a little bit longer for all the drivers to join the broadcast booth before we kick off interviews. Alrighty, got everyone loaded in. We're going to start with third place, Rohan James. An excellent drive, stayed in the battle for most of the race, kind of just stuck there in third, didn't let anyone behind you. Survived turn 1, that's the biggest part of it all. Congrats on surviving turn 1. Coming home with the third place finish on the podium, but overall a great race. Let me know, do you prefer the left-hand turns only, or you kind of like turning right a little bit?
You know what? It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'll take it. I'll take whatever I get.
Not bad at all. An excellent drive overall. Super, super impressed by that. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to the second?
I guess I'll just thank myself. Or actually, I'll thank everybody else for keeping it clean for the most part, especially the lap traffic.
Yes, the lap traffic, that was something that we noticed too here in the booth. The lap traffic did a pretty solid job of not causing too many issues. We saw Eric Richardson become a lawnmower there for a little bit, but at least he stayed out of the way, so we do appreciate that. Thank you, driver number 25, for taking the time to talk. With that, we'll kick it off to the second place finisher. Led every lap, but the most important one, unfortunately. Scott Rolls, an excellent race nonetheless, coming home P2. Tell me about your night.
I mean, it was nice and easy until the last lap, and then I just went a bit wide, and that was it. I had a bit of a slide up the hill at one point, but yeah.
Still an overall very consistent performance. As we saw, that car didn't really have a lot of wiggles, didn't really have a lot of issues for the most part. Very consistent line. Is it almost harder leading that many races because you're not quite sure what the guys behind you or how much they're saving, or is it kind of just you're in your own zone and kind of just doing your own thing?
I'd say it's just in my own zone, doing my own thing. The only issue you have as a leader is the lap traffic, really. But yeah, I wasn't too worried about the guys behind until the last lap, apparently.
Talk to me about that lap traffic, as I'm sure you had to deal with several of the drivers throughout this run, and every time you did deal with them, it did make the 32 just creep up that much closer to you. Overall, would you say it was manageable, or did you almost regret not being more aggressive with the lap traffic?
It was manageable. Just had to be a bit smarter about it, I guess. But yeah, it's what happens.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Still, got to pat yourself on the back. An excellent race overall, even with the P2 finish. Anyone you'd like to thank before we kick it off to the winner?
Just the Queen.
The Queen, as always, on the car. May God rest her soul. With that being said, we'll kick it off to our winner for the Lime Rock race. Garrett Jarnigan, number 32. Got it done with an excellent last lap finish. It's almost becoming a reoccurring theme with last lap great finishes with you. Let me know your mindset going into that, I guess, the last couple turns.
Just had to keep some pressure on him, make him nervous. That Queen was getting bigger and bigger. Well, I guess it was Boris on the back of his car. It was getting bigger and bigger as I went down the hill, and had to remind him we were in a stock car and push him out of the way a little bit. Luckily, that British flag slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah, it was nice to see a little reminder that the USA can still turn right every now and then when they have to be. So
Absolutely.
appreciate you repping as well. But yeah, an excellent pass, an excellent battle. Talk to me about the progression that SMR has made on these road courses. I mentioned a little bit during the broadcast, but the steps you all have taken, what does that look like a little behind the scenes?
And none of us are massive fan. Well, I guess except for Hunter, as a massive fan of road courses. We prefer to turn left, but we put in the work, get our body into practice, help each other out, and we teach each other to turn right the best we can. And it works out sometimes it doesn't. Usually in this case, the lap traffic slowed us down a little bit, but even though Scott had more pace, luckily, every time the lap traffic came up, it let me catch back up to him, and I was able to not get taken out by any of them on the way and survive turn one. Got 3 wide, but survived. So that's all that mattered.
You did an excellent job. You did an excellent job managing that lap traffic, probably the best out of the entire field. Is that something you practice even, or is that just kind of something that's more comes from racecraft?
We don't really practice it, but it just kind of naturally happens when there's, get 5-6 guys in a practice. There's a good chance you're going to run up on somebody that's limping back to the pits or on cold tires. You kind of get some practice pushing them out of the way and just weaving your way around and mowing the grass without wrecking yourself. So definitely helps.
I gotcha. As the king of close finishes, is there anyone you'd like to thank before the end of the broadcast?
Just the SMR boys, George Washington, and the Bald Eagle.
Bald Eagle, America's supremacy. I love to hear it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks.
And that was your winner, Garrett Jarnigan, in the number 32. Just an absolute amazing race, top to bottom. Love seeing that close finish, especially on a road course. You don't always get that, but Garrett Jarnigan seems to make those close finishes happen whenever he's racing. That should wrap it up for this broadcast. We do appreciate you taking the time to spend your Monday evening with us. This has been John Miles in the Bottom Split Racing Series booth. Have a good rest of your all's Monday night.